Hey BoLS fans, AdamHarry back again with another BoLS Retro Corner review. Today we are looking at the Outlanders rulebook. This was for Necromunda. It was an expansion for that, and this is for some of the lower tier or outside of the hive armies that you could play or gangs you could play. They had mutants, Redemptionist, some other fun stuff. So pretty excited about this one. This is again from Necromunda circa 93-ish, that era. Second edition 40K just come out. We had a bunch of cool models as well for that. We have some of the classics here. Some spires, of course, are also in this book, which they were the people that lived on the top of the spire and would come down. They were kind of douches. They would come down and hunt, kind of jerks. So they'd come down and hunt the lower gang members and thought they were cool. But it had a bunch of bounty hunters, special characters. Mad Donna was one of them. She was a renegade noblewoman. But spires, of course, we had some Ratskin Renegades and all this other fun stuff. So we're going to go through that. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right on in. So as you see here, Outlanders, Andy Chambers. This book actually came out in 96. The copyrights are 96. Again, Necromunda had come out like a year or two before that. So again, 93, 94, right around that era of second edition 40K. So pretty cool stuff. Lots of really fun models were in this book, and we're in Necromunda, and I kind of want them to make a comeback. So, matter of fact, this is one of my favorite models, was the Van Saar guy here with the heavy plasma cannon, and I'll kind of zoom in on him. As you can see there, pretty cool stuff. He also held it kind of like the modern incarnations of Marines, where he held it to the side instead of over his shoulder. Again, during this time, a lot of the models, the heavy weapons, were shoulder mounted, carrying it like that. So instead of carrying it like this model. So kind of the new design incarnation there. You see that coming on. So anyway, we're running through. Oh, forgot to show off the back of the book. Wait, I did that. So back of the book. It was mostly not color. It's 112 pages here. They had some stuff. Just the front, really. There's no like heavy metal section in here for painting, but we'll run through it all. Here we go. Here's the contents. Again, this was an expansion book, so it had stuff for outlaw rules, for bounty hunters and stuff like that would obviously go after the outlaws, trading in the outlaw post and stuff like that, outlaw scenarios, Outlanders. We had Scavvies, which were kind of the mutants and stuff like that. We had the Redemptionists, which were the Cult of the Emperor type guys that liked fire a whole lot. Ratskin Renegades, and the Spire Hunters. It was funny, the Redemptionists too, they were part of the House Cawdor, I believe, or however you say that, and there was a Gene Stealer that could have been possibly running the Gene Stealer cult there, so it's just kind of funny how that all works out. We go through a bunch of new weapons. We'll run through a lot of this stuff. New weapons, new equipment, new treacherous conditions table, some hired guns, additional hired guns, pit slaves and stuff like that, weirds, which were the introduction of psychics to Necromunda as well. Special characters, campaign events, more Underhive stuff that you could fight, Deviant Scum, aliens, which were introduced, Eldar Scouts, Orc Scretchen, Gene Stealers, Gene Stealer Magus, hybrids, Chaos Space Marines would also show up and wreck everyone. Chaos Creatures, which also would wreck everything. So the book also included instructions for the additional cutout, kind of cardboard cutout things that came with the box. This actually came in a box. But the Outlanders, basically, again, these are the people that lived outside of the hive or in some of the lowest pits of the hive. So as you're reading through here, keep that in mind. These were not your well-to-do scabby or well-to-do hivers. These were people on the outskirts. How you became an outlaw? Sometimes it's just from killing other gangers and you get a bounty on your head, or you can get declared outlaw by the guilders if you just do too well. So how it all happened, there's a table you can roll on, D6. Most of the stuff is either D6 or 2D6. This is during that era where they got rid of the multiple polyhedral die sets and we're just focusing on D6 type stuff. So pretty cool stuff. Income and all that stuff, starving. Territory chart, these were new territories that you could roll, which were pretty cool. No Archaeotech Horde here, just slag everywhere. So bounties, basically, if your gang had outlaw members, other gangs could hire bounty hunters to help out with that fight. Of course, they had to pay them, and then outlaws couldn't collect bounties on other outlaws, so pretty cool stuff. Made sense. And a lot of the art too is reused from Necromunda. Some of it's new, but there's a lot of reused art. Again, it's that same kind of time frame for GW. So, and then we have the outlaw trade table. Again, you're on the outskirts. You had your own special table here. They had some pretty cool stuff though. The different grenades could be really powerful. Power weapons were still available, albeit on a rare die roll. Gun sights were always helpful. Armor was always helpful. And then just different random stuff you could find. So some of the really high rolls were special. You get a rumor, a special tip-off, special inside information. So pretty cool. Gamble and loot. You could gamble, which would start fights usually. Everything basically in Necromunda triggered fights. Let's be honest about that. Yeah, all the crazy bionics and stuff. The way they generated pricing was always pretty interesting to me. They had most of them had like a base number, and then you roll an extra number of d6s depending on the value. For instance, the needle gun was 230 base, and you roll an additional 5d6, and that would come up with a cost. But stuff like a flamer was just like 40. So that's for special weapons, and then you go on down the list. Bionics were always very popular because they allowed you to do stuff. I know bionic eyes could help with ballistics and stuff like that. Bionic legs could help with the running and jumping and stuff. So pretty cool. Special outlaw scenarios. You just had different things you could run. The most common stuff: scavengers, hunters. 7 through 11 outlaw gang may choose which scenario to play. If both gangs are outlaws, the gang with the lower rating may choose. And so you just had that type of stuff. Outlaw scenario 1, the hit, which again you're trying to assassinate somebody basically. Loot and pillage, which this one, attackers deploy here, defenders on the U, you roll, and they're just trying to basically rob you. And then hunters, this is basically when you become successful, you're probably going to get hunted down by either the guild's watchmen or your old enemies, and so the hunters know where they can find in the news of the outlaws, and so they had a special fast draw scenario build up though. It was pretty cool. I don't remember if this one had the gunfight or not, but there's also a caravan, obviously defending or attacking a caravan, and then that was the only 4 scenarios that were additional. And yeah, if you were a guard, you get points for there if you could fight off the attackers. So, and then also if you failed, it could be bad too. So if you won or failed, so somebody was going to get screwed. Outlanders, again, Ratskin Renegades, Redemptionist Crusades, Scavvies, and Spires. Here are the Scavvies again. These are kind of mutant outlaws. They can have a lot of different stuff. Their starting territory was slightly different. They could be cannibals. And then scav weapons. They could also have stuff like blunderbusses and junk like that, just kind of thrown together weapons that could end up being pretty brutal and sometimes would blow up in your hands, because that happens. You could have mutations, which were pretty cool. There's the Scavvy boss, the Scavvies and Scalies, and then plague zombies. Yes, this was instance of plague zombies. Take that, Nurgle. They obviously had some special rules for being zombies. They didn't move very fast, they didn't feel pain, they had no fear, and they had the plague with them. So if you get wounded by a plague zombie hand in hand, you may contract the disease and turn into a plague zombie. So you kind of had to keep track of that. That was part of the fun of Necromunda though, was like bad stuff happening to your gangers, and then the occasional good thing happening to string that carrot along to keep you playing. But it was all bad. Nothing good ever happened with your gang. You just get shot a bunch. So there's your experience table. And I don't know if you guys remember from the Necromunda review or retro we did for that, but they also had their own special advancement table, stuff like that. So you'd roll on that for your advancements and your special skills list too. So Scavvies could have agility, ferocity, and stealth. Scalies could have ferocity, muscle, and stealth, and then boss could have a bunch of those. So, but no techno skills for you, Scavvies. Take that. Redemptionists, these again were the xenophobic Emperor's Divine Wrath type guys that like to burn stuff and purify everything through fire and blood. And yeah, they were all about the fire. I know they had a special like hand flamer attachment they could do on their shotguns, which is pretty cool. So their special rules again, they are still outlaws, I guess, and outriders. All of the outlaw rules apply to them with the exceptions of the ones noted below, as Outlanders Redemptionists do not have a guild price and may never pay off their outlaw status. So that was one of the things you could do if you became an outlaw. You could pay off the guild and they'd leave you alone. Territory is slightly different. Capture redemption territory was slightly different. Income and trading, all this stuff was all slightly different. I never played a Redemptionist gang personally, but I did play against them, and they were pretty mean. I mean, like, stat wise, lots of mostly threes. They're human, so lots of threes. But then the flamers, man, the flamers were just brutal. They could run out of ammo, which was, you know, mercifully pretty common. But holy crap, those flamers. Anyway, they could have a Redemptionist priest, deacon, brethren, and zealots. Those were kind of their juvies there. So, and yeah, it was all the Redemptionists, and knocked the camera out of position. So pretty cool stuff. Here's our weapon list: assault gun, shotgun. Flamers were very common, again, for 40 credits, and just pretty much if you're under that template, if you get within 8 inches of a Redemptionist and they have a flame weapon, it's going to be bad times for you. Close combat weapons. Yeah, there's their special experience table, as you see here. I'm going to zoom in real quick. See, these are always really cool. So, the table, as you see, you start off 0-1, novice, starting level, obviously, and then it kind of goes through as you gain experience, you level up. One of the things that I liked about Necromunda a lot, and with this expansion, it kind of expanded on that with these extra guys and everything, is if you had a novice and they could somehow survive, they ended up being some of the toughest guys in your gang because they had so many roles on the advancement table right here. As you can see, they could pick from skills, initiative, strength, attacks, all that fun stuff, leadership, toughness, wounds, which was always good. And here's their Redemptionist chart. Once you stop becoming a novice, you move up to brethren and zealot and stuff like that. And you had a pretty, you know, limited skill set, but these were really powerful abilities. The ferocity and shooting, you could do some really cool stuff, and then there's maximum value on the table there. So pretty neat. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Next up, I believe, yeah, Ratskin. Oh, Redemptionist territory chart. So they had some slightly different things. And again, you are on a crusade, so they kind of kept moving. So they had slightly different roles for their territories. He could go to a seminary, which is pretty funny, and then get 2d6, or sorry, d6 times 10 credits. 2d6 times 10 was hidden weapons. Ratskins were always fun. Hiring Ratskins was always a good plan because they could let you activate the tunnel thing, which was a special trigger where you could deploy from tunnel markers on the board. So they were pretty sneaky. But yeah, they're pretty good hired guns. Ratskin Chief there. They're kind of the more, I don't want to say like agility class, but that's kind of how this gang functioned. They were very quick, or they could get quick, and they were very sneaky, very stealthy. And I remember them with shotguns for some reason, shotguns and just mean stuff. Anyway, Ratskin Chief, Ratskin Shaman. That was they had psychic abilities with those guys, which was pretty scary if you think about it. Where most gangs, again, this is gang level skirmish combat, so most gangs probably in the storyline, or I guess, have never even heard of a Psyker, much less seen one. And then you got the Ratskin Shamans running around throwing warp bolts everywhere or whatever. So that's pretty cool. But they also they could do other things with the shamans. They had spirit lore, which is the ability to communicate with high spirits and help them out. Resilient, so they were kind of doctors too, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm mixing up the weird guys, but they're coming up. Anyway, Ratskin Braves, Ratskins, all that regular guys, and novices and stuff like that. Their weapon list is pretty limited. So they had auto pistols, blunderbuss, scattergun, or whatever, handbow, musket, stab gun. So very limited to start with. Special weapons was a shotgun, which was a common weapon for most people. Autogun and lasgun, again, all common stuff for most other things. Close combat weapons, they had pretty typical stuff. And then grenades and shotgun shells. So, and then we go through the chart for them. Their Ratskin ability list down here. Big focus on agility and stealth. Pretty much everybody had agility and stealth. regular Ratskins also had access to combat. The Shamans had combat ferocity, and then the Chief had all this stuff. And again, no techno skills for these guys. Spirit lore powers. This is what I was talking about. They could do some crazy stuff. So Slime Dance. The Shaman is able to call on the spirits of the hive to summon up fogs, slime, and creatures and such like. Treacherous Condition is rolled and can be rolled if he passes a leadership check. Curse. You can curse people. Ghost Dance. Protection, so it gives them a 4-up save until the beginning of the next Ratkin turn. Blind Snake Ritual. Pass the leadership test. Creates a Blind Snake pouch for free, which again was like a special thing for. You could sell it, but it was also like an extra save. Spirit Walk. They can move 3d6 and move in phase in all terrain. It's pretty cool. Steel Prowess. Basically steal their defeated enemy's abilities. So still a skill or a characteristic advance, which is pretty nice. Spire Hunters. These guys were. Oh. If somebody showed up with a Spire Hunter, it was usually just like one hunter against your entire gang. And it's like Batman beating up your guys. It's pretty much what they did. They would have to take a vow before they went to town on you. And they have to kill a total of 1 gang fighter for each starting number of the team. The team had 6 members they would have to kill. And 6 enemy gang fighters before the return of the wall. So they had to take a special vow. Or an internal 200 experience, or survive a total of 2 games for each starting member of the team. So basically, if you start with a team of 4, they would have to survive 8 games before they all return to the wall. It was one of those things like the Spire Hunters would come down, they would mess up your campaign, and then the players would have to retire them. They did have them built in as a retire, like they were gonna go away. They were kind of a force of nature, kind of pretty much jerks. But the different people, they had Jakara, that was the Monosword Adamantium Shield. Then we had Yeld, which was the most bizarre hunter. That was the guy with the wings. Malkadon, that's the web guy. I remember shooting that with the claws. I believe that's actually the Malkadon, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And then Horus. This guy is Horus, powered in arms and hulking shoulders. Yep, that's him. Let me see if I can find a pic real quick. Do they have any of the other? Yeah, that's the Malkadon there. There's Horus. They may have released the models later. Check. There's the Yelled guy. And I don't see the other one. Anyway. Spire experience. Basically, Spires did wreck your campaign, so if you had a buddy that was going to bring Spires, you just punch them. Moving on. Pit Slaves, they had new weapons. Those are the guys, again, fighting in the fighting pits, have crazy weapons, rock drills and hammers and, you know, buzzsaw hands. Scaly weapons, the blunderbuss is a spear gun, all that crazy nonsense. The spear gun actually would go through people, which was pretty neat. Archaeotech. Wild Snake was just a rare liquor. Give you some snake courage. I remember that one. Just all the different. You could do drugs. There was drug use in obviously in Necromunda, just to give you some courage and whatever effects. Treacherous Conditions. The Mirror Shield. You can parry hand-to-hand combat, and also gives you a second shooting like energy-based weapons. So laser, plasma, or melta. And then fire it back at them. So, pretty crazy stuff. There's the different toxic fog. You can roll all that nastiness. Leadership of the gang. What happens if you lose? What happens if somebody gets more experience or challenges your leadership? Which happened quite a bit. A lot of gangs would have leadership challenges and then they'd have to disband after the leader got killed in the fight. You could hire pit slaves. You could hire the weirds. These guys totally would shoot stuff with their warp power. They were kind of jerks. Yeah, weirds were another one of those strange additions to the game. I guess they did want to, you know, promote Psychers, but whatever. They could get possessed by demons naturally. I want to jump ahead in Pyromancy, so that Fire Blast, Fire, all that crazy stuff. I want to jump ahead to Telepathy tonight. We've seen these before. This is pretty cool. Here, they had a lot of powers. I want to jump to the special characters, which is where I was trying to get to. These guys were pretty cool. You could hire them. You could get them if the difference in gang rating was high enough. You'd have a bonus to your roll because they were pretty awesome. Yeah, so these special characters, we have the Arch Zealot of the Redemption, which was obviously kind of a Redemptionist guy, but he would run around. He was basically a solo, and he would join your gang if the difference in gang rating was high enough. But he had Fuel Canister, which was never run out of ammo, which was cool if it malfunctioned. And he had Rabble Rouser. Any gang that includes the Arch Zealot will have been worked to a foaming bloodlust before the battle by one of his speeches, and they'll never give up and won't stop fighting. The gang never has to make bottle rolls and can only bottle out voluntarily. King Redworth the Magnificent, this was a big scabby guy. He had some cool abilities. Scabby King, so he basically takes over the leader as the king. You owe allegiance to him. Some other cool characters. We had Mad Donna, again a play on words. GW was really big on that in the 90s, in the 80s. Obviously Madonna, but we had Mad Donna. I just hit the table. She had some cool abilities. She did have a plasma pistol and a las pistol and a chainsword, so already packing more heat than most other gangs. She had a bionic eye. She was subject to frenzy and hates all spires. Again, she is the rogue 12th daughter of a noble house, so she came down. She hates spires. She has a special role called Psycho Bitch. All stories about the Mad Donna dwell at great length on what a sadistic homicidal maniac she was and truly horrible things she did to her enemies. Blah 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 blah. In the combat phase, serious injury charts for the victim apply the results immediately, unless it's 61 to 66. In the latter case, Madonna loses interest and makes her follow-up move anyway. Madonna starts her turn with an enemy model within charge distance or having been pinned. She can make a leadership test on 2d6. If she passes, she will abandon her victim and continue fighting. So she's pretty mean. She's also hunted. So if you get in a fight with her and you take her out, you can. Oh, sorry. You add +1 to the dice roll as well, based on the gang rating stuff. She had an effect on that. Bulgorg, I believe it's this guy with the crazy chainsword hands. It's pretty mean. I never fought this guy. I did fight Madonna, but nobody ever brought him. But he had 2 turbo chainswords. He had a refractor field, so he had a 5-up, basically a 5-up invulnerable. It's pretty mean. Barakar, the Avenger, that brings death. Never fought this guy, but he did have the heavy stubber. He had a bunch of skills: armor, weaponsmith. He had a bunch of shooting skills, ambush, stealth skills. He will only work with Ratskin gangs. That's probably why I never really fought him. He increases the gang rating by 333 points. He doesn't work for money. He will only help a gang as a mentor. There's a bounty of 330 credits on his head. He only works for Ratskins as a mentor. In addition, Barakar will not help Ratskin Renegades if they are fighting other Ratskins. So he's kind of this weird guy that would show up. Karloth Valios. So I don't even know what this guy did. He had a long storyline there. He was a weird power. That's right. He had a zombie power. He's kind of like an undead dude. Pretty cool. I'm gonna skip through that. We also have the Arbiter campaign, which is just a mini campaign you can run, and then just campaign events. So Lord of the Spire. So a lot of fun stuff in here. There's the extra scenarios, extra cards. Kind of running out of time here, so I want to get moving. But this was a great addition to Necromunda on the whole. Again, the Underhive Bestiary, so if you wanted to do campaign stuff and just fight whatever. So pretty fun stuff. They had demons, chaos creatures would show up, gene stealers would show up. It was a really fun expansion and it had some really brutal rules, but overall I had a really good time using this book. So there you have it. There's the Outlanders rule book for the Necromunda kind of expansion. So it's been another BoLS Retro Corner review. I'm AdamHarry signing off. Have